Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for bearing with me. The last few weeks has not been pleasant for me. I've been dealing with it as best I could, but yeah, thankfully I'm here now and ready to tell you about my few weeks playing video games. So first up, I want to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. My history of this game has been very short. When I was playing RPGs in the 2000s, I didn't really give the Megaten franchise any attention until Persona 4. And then after I played Persona 4 and absolutely loved the crap out of it, I went back and played as many Megaten games as I could, and a lot of them just didn't stick. I was happy to play them for a couple of hours and didn't proceed with them. Strangely enough, Nocturne was one of these games. I think I only played it for 5 hours on the original PS2, and something else came up, most likely a Falcom game of some sort, but I didn't really put in much time after that until the remaster became available, and I picked it up a couple of weeks ago, and this time I got a bit further in. I think I'm about 15 hours in, and it's pretty awesome. It's not my favorite of the series, I will say. My favorite Megaten mainline Megaten game, as of now, is still Shin Megami Tensei 4. I played that during the first year of lockdown, and I was absolutely addicted to it. I actually did 2 of the 3 routes, and I wish I did the last route because, you know, we all know what's happened to the eShop. Rest in peace. But no, so I wanted to go back and play the other Megaten games, and I did go back and play Shin Megami Tensei 1, and that game's, for a 1992 SNES game, is pretty good, but it's not my favorite. I'd say I like Nocturne a lot more than number 1, but I like it less than number 4. So, but this is still early days, and there's nothing bad about the game. I got to say, for a game that originally released in Japan in 2003, it's damn impressive, and I'm enjoying what little bit I've played of it so far. But we'll see what happens. I don't know when I'll get back to it, but hopefully I'll beat it before the end of the year. The next game I've been playing is very interesting. I've only played it for a handful of minutes, but this game is something that I've been wanting to play for what feels like a few decades, actually. And if you know anything about me, besides my RPGs, there's a lot of other genres of video games I like to play. One thing I haven't really touched upon is that I was actually an arcade kid in the 90s. While playing my consoles at home, I was very happy to go down to the local arcades, or most likely a fish and chip shop, or one of the sporting rec centers, because they all had arcade games, and I absolutely loved pretty much cut my teeth on a lot of fighting games going to those places. But there was one fighting game that eluded me, and a lot of other people, because it never got any console ports. It only stayed an arcade game for its entire existence. But what Capcom's done, they have the Capcom Fighting Collection, and they included this game to be a part of it, and that is Red Earth, otherwise known as Warzard. And it's really cool because it's a 2D fighting game that has a lot of RPG elements, and I really like the vibe. I love the graphics. This was the first game to use the CPS freeboard that would later use for Street Fighter 3, and I've always wanted to play it, and now, thanks to the Capcom Fighting Collection, I get to play it. I've only played a handful of minutes, but I really like what I'm playing so far, so hopefully I can delve into it a bit more soon. Next up, when I was talking about the Wonder Boy collection in the last video, I went back and played the Master System version of Wonder Boy Monster World, otherwise known as Monster World 3. It's very weird. They don't count the first Wonder Boy game as a Monster World game. Wonder Boy Monster Land is Monster World 1. Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap is Monster World 2. And Wonder Boy and Monster World is Monster World 3. And most people know that it was released on the Mega Drive, but what they didn't know is that later on it got a Master System port. Well, for me, I actually played the Master System port first back in the 90s. And this was a couple of months before my brother and I got a Mega Drive for that Christmas in 93. And we played the Master System version of Wonder Boy in Monster World. And I really liked it. But it's been a very long time. I'm talking about 20 years, not even 20 years, 30 years. Oh my God. 30 years since I played it on the original hardware. And I gotta say, it's not bad for a Master System game, but it's definitely inferior compared to the Mega Drive port. Just a couple of gripes on the top of my head. One, the hitbox is just laughable. In the Mega Drive version, it feels like you have some distance between you and the enemy when you strike them, and it feels a bit fair. In the Master System version, that hitbox distance has been shortened by half, and sometimes you just plain out run into the enemy and just cop damage. And a little bit of a problem. The other thing that makes it a little bit inferior is the fact that they cut out 2 full areas of the game, which is the volcano and the ice palace. In the Master System version, you go into the ice palace and you just hit the boss fight straight away. Whereas in the Mega Drive version, it's a full dungeon that you have to go and, you know, sort out before you get to the boss. So yeah, it was really cool to go back memory lane and see what I was dredge up old memories. But if you really want to play Wonder Boy Monster World, I highly suggest just play the Mega Drive version. What's next? Oh boy, I think there might be one more. I feel like I'm forgetting a game here, but I know what the final game's going to be, because man, it's been a long time coming to get it back into this series, but it is a series that I'm very much a big fan of, despite the fact that I have taken a huge break from it. And that series is the Ace Attorney series. I really love Ace Attorney. I love the characters, I love the music, I like the visuals, I love the vibe, I love everything about it. But my last game that I played was Apollo Justice on the original DS. And that's going back like a long, long ways. So I've missed out on a couple of games. Well, recently there was a sale on, and I got the Great Ace Attorney collection. And I have beaten 2 of the, we should say, 2 chapters of the first game so far. And I really, really am enjoying the aesthetic of being in old Japan and old England. And I gotta say, I love the characters. Barak Van Sykes is one of the coolest characters I've ever seen in a video game. So special shout out to him. And yeah, I am looking forward to hopefully also finishing this before the end of the year. But that may or may not happen due to coming events in the next couple of weeks. So that's pretty much what I've been playing for these 2 weeks. As I just said a few moments ago, alluding to, I've got 2, I should say most of us have got 2 major releases coming up in a couple of months. And if you're a PC and Xbox player, you've got one other game, just a little game you called Starfield. I don't have access to that, so I will not be playing Starfield. But there's a couple of other games coming in the next couple of weeks that I will be playing, and I will touch up on that in the next week's video. So for everyone listening, I just want to say again, thank you for being so patient. I am not out of the woods yet to being 100%, but hopefully in the next few weeks I will be. I've got some different types of videos planned. One of the games that's coming out, well, I should say the game that I'm alluding to is out for PCs right now, and it's going to be coming out for PS5. But what the game represents and what it's tied to, I've got a ton of videos I want to talk about, because it's actually one of my greatest passions in life, and I want to share loads and loads and loads of stories regarding the world's oldest tabletop game in a future video. So I just want to say thank you for listening. What has everyone been playing recently? I always enjoy whenever I get to hear what everyone else is playing. So until next time, take care everyone.